Hey, thanks for watching. You know, I was once holding my niece, and there was a very, very smart guy next to me, and she was crying, and he told me what to do. And I asked him, "How did you know?" And he said, "Well, with a baby, there are not many options. Maybe they need a diaper change, maybe they need to be fed, maybe they need to be put to sleep. There's only about 5 different possibilities." And the same thing with life. You know, we kind of complicate things. But the truth of the matter is, there are only 5 possibilities. If you understand these 5 possibilities, you will understand the entire possibility of emotions that you're feeling. You'll be able to, just like making the baby feel better, make yourself and pretty much anyone else feel better. So, the first emotion that we feel is desire. Now, desire obviously is connected to our ego. I want. If there's no I, there can be no I want. We all have an I, and we have to have that I, otherwise you wouldn't exist. But then we become kind of obsessed with various different things. And so the first question you need to ask yourself is, what do I desire? Whether you realize it or not, every person is like kind of a Google car, those cars that are driving automatically, and you have a destination. So the destination that you're going in is the destination of your desires. So you have to, if you get into a Google car and somebody had already pressed the destination, the first question is, where's it going? If you want to understand yourself, you have to understand, what are your desires? So take a piece of paper and write down all the things you want. Now, be aware that maybe you don't really want those things. Maybe those are not the choices that you choose to desire. Maybe you saw an ad, maybe your father wanted it and you thought it was a cool, good thing to want. Once you have a consciousness of what you desire, you can now change that desire and create a new desire, or change the desire to something you really want as opposed to that. So the first massive, massive, massive thing that runs us is desire. And the second thing that runs us, it's kind of the opposite of desire. It's called fear. And when you love yourself, like we said before, you have to have an I that wants. You also want to protect the I. Now, generally speaking, there are 2 types of fears. There's the fear of the body, and there's the fear of the ego, emotion, or soul. The fear of the body is something physical. Maybe you're afraid you don't have money, so you won't have food. But the fear of the ego or emotions or soul is a different type of fear. It's maybe you're afraid of shame. Most of us have some fear of criticism because we've been criticized. It didn't feel good, and we don't want it to happen again. Or we take the criticism seriously and we feel that it's an attack on our dignity or value, and we don't want to be devalued. And so the second thing you need to do is ask yourself, what do I fear? Take a piece of paper, and this is probably the most important exercise you can probably do in your life. Write down everything that you don't want to happen to you. Just as desire of things that you want, fear of things that you don't want. Write down everything that you don't want to happen to you. And once you know that, you know what you fear. Now, what's really important to understand, again, like desire, is some of those things you picked up. Maybe when you were young, your father was afraid of losing his job or something, and so now you're afraid of it. So you don't necessarily have to keep those fears. So you have to think rationally now. Do I want to have that fear? Do I not want to have that fear? Is it something to fear or not? Again, fear is based either on bodily issues or emotional issues. And the next type of issue that we have, and it's kind of connected to fear, but it's more of a spiritual kind of thing, is guilt. Many people run their lives on beating themselves up. They feel guilty for this, they feel guilty for that. Now, a sense of shame is a healthy thing that a human being should have. Nothing worse than a shameless person, an arrogant person who thinks he's always right. But to always feel shame, as the Baal Shem Tov says, more than the Yetzer Hara, the devil, or the dark side, the Satan wants you to feel, more than he wants you to sin, he wants you to feel ashamed that you sinned. Because once we're feeling shame, we feel down, we kind of feel depressed, and we become vulnerable to bad people. We want to feel better about ourselves or bad behaviors. Many people are on drugs trying to erase shame. So again, take a piece of paper and write, what do I feel ashamed about? Bring it out into the consciousness. Once you understand, you say to yourself, should I really feel ashamed about that? One thing is for sure, it's not healthy to feel shame. It's not healthy to live with shame. If you want to change, just change. One of the great lessons I realized from Jewish mysticism is that life is ahead of us. It's not behind us. Shame is always what happened in the past. And so our job is to correct the present and the future, not the past. And so therefore, if you're holding on to an emotion such as shame, whether you realize it or not, you are allowing something that happened in the past to affect you in the present. And that's always a bad idea. You have to actually say, what do I want to do about this? Decide, do I want to apologize to someone? Do I not? But bring it into the consciousness. You have to ask yourself, again, what do I feel ashamed about? And bring it into the consciousness and decide from there. The next emotion that we have is really the desire for belonging and connection and love and unity and marriage. These are very real human emotions. A person, ha'adam hu medini, person by nature is a social creature. And so therefore, what it is very important to ask yourself is, who do I want to belong to? Again, you may not realize this. You have to know, who do I want to belong to? What is the kind of love that I wish to have? Right? You might understand from these questions a much deeper sense of yourself. And last but not least, the other emotion that really runs us, and in a sense it's one of the most important things and most overlooked, is, what is the meaning and purpose of my life? And ask yourself that. What is the meaning and purpose of my life? And don't rest until you find that answer, because, you can have good desires, you can overcome fear, you can overcome shame, and in fact, you can have a situation where you're not feeling in any way a lack in love. Maybe you have love, maybe you have family. But, there was this doctor, my hometown is Kansas City, and he committed suicide. He obviously wasn't feeling the sense of purpose and meaning, even though his life was very meaningful, but he wasn't feeling it. So it's really critical to ask yourself, what is the meaning and purpose of life? And I'm not going to tell it to you, because I need you to figure that out for yourself. And it's there. Everybody has some kind of special gift, a talent, etc. But go figure out, what is the meaning and purpose of your life? And then do it, because it's not enough to have the information. It has to be the action. In my life, I figured out that I have a bit of a talent in taking Jewish mysticism and making it user-friendly. The more I do that, the better I feel about myself. Again, it's simple. If you do the meaning of life, you'll feel the meaning of life. And so good luck. Literally, every single emotion that we have is contained in these 5 emotions. Number 1, desire. Number 2, fear. Number 3, shame or guilt. Number 4, love, belonging. And number 5, meaning and purpose. And if you can work on these 5 things, you can literally, have positive desires, lack of fear, connection with others. You'll also have lack of shame and guilt. And last but not least, a meaningful, purposeful existence. What could be better than that? Take the time. If you made it this far, you're really interested in this subject. But it's not going to help unless you do the exercises. Number 1, write down the things that you desire. Check it. Do I really desire those things? Number 2, what are my fears? Check it. Are those things worth fearing? Should I fear them? Should I not? Are they my fears? Or are they someone else's fears? Number 3, go into guilt and shame. What do I feel guilty and ashamed about? Should I or shouldn't I? Was it just a bully that made me feel that way? Was it something that I should be feeling guilty? Is there something I should do about it? Number 4, who do I wish to belong to? What are the loves that I wish to have? And of course, go for it. And number 5, what is the meaning and purpose of my life? And do it. And these 5 things are the 5 key things that run all of us. And if you can actually do this, and if this is meaningful, share it with someone else, you can not only change your life, but someone else's as well.